Okay, guys, so this will start our unit over organic chemistry. We're going to start by naming alkanes today and writing alkane structures. Now, I didn't type out notes for this because it's a lot easier to just write it out by hand for me. So you'll have handwritten notes and example problems attached as a PDF, okay? So organic chemistry is a study of carbon compounds. So anything that contains carbon is considered an organic compound. So the first example, which of the following are organic compounds? Okay, NaCl is not organic because it doesn't have carbon in it. Ethanol, CH3CH2OH, has two C's in it, so this is going to be organic. CH3NH2 is organic because it has a C in it. It's got carbon. HBr is not organic because it doesn't have carbon in it. And this compound right here is called an aldehyde. We'll learn about that in a few lessons, but it has carbon in it, so it is organic. Now, as we go through these notes, you have a whole bunch of prefixes. Now, your parent chain prefixes. Okay, so one carbon has the prefix meth, 2 eth, 3 prop, 4 bute, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 non, 10 dec. Okay, and then you have substituent groups, which are coming off the main chain. So what this R means is it's branching off the main chain, and we'll take a look at that in a second. One CH3 coming off is a methyl group. CH2CH3 is an ethyl group. CH2CH2CH3 is a propyl group. A chlorine coming off is a chloro, bromo, fluoro, and iodo. Okay, so it'll make sense as we go through the steps. Okay, so your rules for naming organic compounds. We're going to identify the longest chain of carbons first. It's the longest chain of carbons, okay? You think of it as railroad tracks. You can't break the railroad tracks and jump somewhere else. You're going to number to where you start with the lowest numbers possible, and you're going to identify the substituent groups, and we're going to name it in alphabetical order, and then we're going to name the compound. So our first type of compound that we're going to name is called an alkane. Alkanes end in A and E. They're characterized by single bonds. So this is important because we name things different whenever they have a double bond and when they have a triple bond. Alkanes are also known as paraffins, and the general formula for alkanes is C to the N, H to the 2N plus 2. Okay, so let's jump right in. Name the following compounds. Okay, so we're going to count the longest chain of carbons. We can go 1, 2, 3, or we can go straight across 1, 2, 3. Okay, it won't make any sort of difference. So we're going to circle the longest chain of carbons. Okay, now this CH3 coming off of this, it's a methyl group. Okay, because we go back to our little thing right here, a CH3 coming off is a methyl group. Now, we're going to number to where we get the lowest numbers possible for this methyl group coming off. So we can number 1, 2, 3 going this way, and this would be a 2, or we can number going this way, 1, 2, 3. It's still the same exact thing. So when we go to name this, it's going to be 2 methyl, and our parent chain is 3 carbons long, so it's going to be propane. Okay, so our steps were identify the longest parent chain. We circled it in blue. We're going to number it to where you get the lowest numbers possible. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We have a methyl group coming off the 2 carbon. So we signify what carbon that's coming off of by 2 dash, and we do methyl propane. Okay, now when we start having multiple things involved, it'll change up just a little bit, but you're just going to have to kind of follow along because there's no set way. Every single example is going to be like that. Okay, so the next example, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons in a row. So that's going to be our parent chain. Okay, we're going to number it to where the Br gets the lowest numbers possible. This is a bromo. Okay, so if I number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going this way, this would get a 3 if I number it going this way. 1, 2, 3. It's the same exact thing. You want to get the lowest numbers possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be 3 bromo and 5 carbons long is pentane, because the prefix for 5 is pent. Okay, now we're going to get into a little more complicated examples now. So hopefully they will make sense as we go through. Okay, part C. So we're going to identify the longest chain of carbons. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, not going that way. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is going to be our longest chain of carbons. Now we got a chloro group coming off right here, and you got a methyl group coming off over here. So when we go to number this, we want the chloro to get the lowest number possible, or we want to have the lowest numbers possible. So if we're going in alphabetical order, and it has the same numbers both ways, you're good. But like in this case, if I go 1, 2, 3, that's the methyl. If I go this way, it's 1, 2, 3 chloro. Okay, so chloro is going to get the precedent over the methyl in alphabetical order. So we're going to name this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to name this in alphabetical order. So this is going to be 3 chloro, 5 dash methyl, and our parent chain is 7 long, so it's going to be heptane. Okay, so what this example illustrates is our longest chain of carbons doesn't always have to be a straight line. They're all connected by the railroad. Okay, next example. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is going to be the longest chain of carbons. So I'm going to circle that. That's going to be my parent chain. Okay, I got a fluoro coming off right here. I got a methyl, and another methyl. So I have 3 methyls coming off. Now I got to number this to where you get the lowest numbers possible. So my lowest numbers possible are going to go from this direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I went from this direction, it'd be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you want to get the lowest numbers possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So F comes before M in alphabetical order. So this is going to be 2 fluoro. And then I have methyl groups coming off the 2 and the 4 carbons. So it's going to be 2, 4, 4, trimethyl, and it's going to be hexane. Sorry, I ran out of room. There's really not any spaces in between that. Okay, so when we go to do this, we have to account for each methyl group. So you got 1 coming off the 2 carbon, 1 coming off the 4, and you got another one coming off the 4. You have 3 of them, so we're going to use the prefix tri, like we did when we named non-metal compounds. So you're going to use those same prefixes. Okay, next example problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is your longest chain of carbons. Okay, now you got a methyl, you got another methyl. I keep spelling methyl wrong. You get another methyl, and you got an iodo. Okay, so the I is going to come first in alphabetical order. So we got a name to where we have the lowest numbers possible. So 1, 2. If I go from this way, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to number going this way. okay? So this is going to be 6-iodo, 2,3,6 trimethyl nonane, because the prefix for 9 is non. Okay, last example for this page. Your longest chain of carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be the same any direction you decide to go. Okay, so we're going to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be the same from all directions. You got an ethyl group coming off and another ethyl group. So your ethyl is CH2CH3 from the first page of notes. So when we go to name this, this is going to be 3, 3 diethyl. 5 is pent, so it's pentane. Now it's extremely important that your A's look like A's and your E's look like E's, because when we go to name other stuff, it's going to be matter whenever we name alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. Okay. Now onto the back. Drawing the compounds. Okay, the condensed structures. So whenever we do drawing condensed structures, I like to do it this way. I work from the end and I go forward like that. So pentane means we're going to have 5 carbons long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a methyl group coming off the second carbon, and that's it. Now we got to go fill in our hydrogens. Now, if I could find my periodic table real quick, this would help me out. Okay, so carbon is in group 4. Okay, so this group has 1 valence electron, 2 valence electrons, 3, and 4. So it can have at most 4 bonds total. Okay, so if you can count to 4, you can do this. There's 1 bond to this carbon right here. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So we put in 3 hydrogens. There's 3 bonds going to this carbon right here. So 4 minus 3 is 1. There's 2 bonds going to this carbon right here. So we're going to put 4 minus 2 is 2 hydrogens. Same thing here. 4 minus 2 is 2 hydrogens. And there's only 1 bond right there, so it's CH3. Okay? For some reason, everyone gets confused on that. I'm probably going to have to explain that a million times. But if you can do 4 minus the number of bonds, you can do it correctly. Okay. 2,3-dimethyl pentane. Pentane is 5 carbons long. Okay, we got a methyl group coming off the second carbon and then the third carbon. Now, we're going to go through and fill in our hydrogens. There's 1 bond here, 4 minus 1 is 3. There's 3 bonds there, 4 minus 3 is 1. Same thing there. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So that's what your structure looks like. Okay, 2-bromo-3-ethyl-5-methyl heptane. Hept is 7 carbons long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We got a bromo coming off the 2 carbon. We got an ethyl group coming off the 3 carbon. And your 5th carbon has a methyl. Like that. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, does it matter which direction you go? Sure doesn't. Okay, it can be written on top or bottom. So we're going to go fill in our hydrogens. This has 1 bond, so 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 bonds, 4 minus 3 is 1. Same thing there. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So each line represents a bond. Okay. 2,2-dimethylbutane. Butane is 4 carbons. Okay, we got a methyl group coming off the 2 carbon, and we got another methyl group coming off the 2 carbon. Okay, so we're going to go fill in our hydrogens. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 4 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, and our last example for this. 4-chloro-2,3-dimethylhexane. So hexane is 6 carbons long. Okay, so we got a methyl coming off the 2 and a methyl coming off the 3 carbon. And then we got a chloro coming off the 4th carbon. So we're going to go fill in our hydrogens now. 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Same thing here. Same thing here. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So hopefully this helps you learn how to name alkanes. The same rules are going to apply for cycloalkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. We're just going to add one little extra step. Now, the practice problems that I'm attaching, we're going to do in just a second in a separate video. So hopefully you can work those problems out and check your work with my next video. Have a good afternoon. Thanks.